I've been working as a chef for like 18 years or so, and now I'm really into farming, and all because of this guy.
It's so reciprocal, I think, because I always had the passion for food. I always loved cooking in the house. By no means I call myself a chef, or yeah, I'm not trained whatsoever in the kitchen, but I just love cooking what I grow. So
That's the way to go.
I know what goes in it. I know how it's grown. So I just like to take it to the kitchen and just be creative with it and have fun with it.
And I guess the answer to the question is it doesn't matter
No.
as long as it tastes really good and it's based on really good produce. And Frida, you of course you're a top chef from Malmö in Sweden, MJ's, and Saba, you're of course running the Botillenborg, city farm in Malmö, and has proven that you can, grew some fantastic produce in the city center of a big town. And we're here to test that.
Yeah.
I hope.
Of course.
So what have you cooked up?
We're doing 2 dishes today. So we're doing my signature dish. That's pointed cabbage, baked with some brown butter and some thyme, together with the goat yogurt, some harissa and almonds, and topped with a lot of nice kale leaves and coriander shoots from Saba.
Lovely. Can I help you in any way?
Are you familiar with the barbecue, maybe?
Yeah, well, it says Broil King here, and I feel like the king of broil, so why not?
First, Saba, want you pop on some beets for the other dish in the smoker?
For sure.
Yep.
Okay.
So let's open this one up here. Oh, it's nice and hot.
Yeah. So we have some kale here, pointed cabbage.
Uh-huh.
So
we put them on the grill.
Yeah.
So these you have baked for a while before?
Yeah, I have baked them together with some lemon zest, some thyme, garlic, and salt, and a lot of brown butter. We love butter, of course.
We do,
yeah,
of course.
And they're vacuumed, and then steamed for like 20 minutes. And now we're just going to get the little surface on them and heat. And then we're going to top them off with the nice toppings and dressings.
Oh, and it starts to smell amazing already. I don't know. Once they invent the smell camera, this is the first place you test it, because this is truly, truly good. And you just fry them for a short while or barbecue them for a short while?
Yeah. Want some nice color on them and just, some heat.
Throw them around on the grill, right?
And just some salt.
And this is something anyone could do in their own kitchen, right?
I would say so. It's a quite simple dish.
Okay. So your signature dish, as one of the leading green chefs in Sweden, is actually something everyone could cook at home.
I would say so.
Isn't that a really bad idea? Because then they don't have to go to your restaurant?
I don't think you go to a restaurant nowadays just for the food.
So why do you go there?
For the atmosphere and the company, and to...
the sense of being part of something
Experience.
greater, perhaps, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because your restaurant, that's one of the few places where you actually can get Saba's stuff cooked.
Absolutely. I think it comes down to the experience, because pretty much every single person who works at MJ's knows the farm. They have been to the farm. They know me. Every time I show up to the restaurant with the produce on week-to-week basis or on day-to-day basis, sometimes, there's the face-to-face interaction, and the recognition is always there. So there's always questions on, okay, so what's happening now? What's available at the farm? What's coming in? And there's always conversations that revolve around.
Say it like it is. Like they gather around Santa's, big Christmas sack full of stuff they want to have, and
pretty much
so. Yes, and it's because there's always a new thing in there, right? It's not always, potatoes again. It's because there's always something coming out of the ground that you need to treat in one way or another, and that you can interpret.
Yeah. So last year, in maybe September, October, we did like a planning for this year. So we did a harvest calendar that should put me on the spot to write menus out of his vegetables and his harvest.
Okay.
So instead of in the normal way working with a chef that's, okay, I want to work with carrots, it's Saba all the time telling me, okay, now you should do a dish with carrots.
Does it surprise you often, or?
Though I was with him planning what kinds of
course, then
so I know what
so
crops
you've kind
is
of been
growing.
involved in it.
But sometimes he's telling me, okay, the carrots are slower or faster than we had planned because of the weather, no, of course. So here's the pointed cabbage with some goat yogurt and some harissa dressing.
Lovely. Have you seen how beautiful this is?
Some toasted almonds.
Oh.
And then we also have some nice.
What type of leaves are?
Saba?
Yes.
What's the name of this?
That's I think you call it brassikakrasse in Swedish. It's a baby kale. So we specifically grow it with a high seed density on our garden beds because the final product, as you see, is a fork size, as we call it. Chefs really appreciate when. I can only speak on behalf of farmers, but I've learned that chefs love it when the size of the vegetable is proper to what they actually want to use and how they want that to be presenting the dish and how they want it to look like on the plate. So we just make sure that we cut it at the right size, and after a couple of weeks, we go back on the same garden bed.
Cut it again.
Exactly.
Like, exactly. What a wonderful machine! It just produces and produces. Okay, thank you. Oh, it's wine, and this is not for stirring the wine, I hope. No, it's for the. No, but I think it was really interesting because I haven't seen these leaves before, and as you can all see, I've eaten a lot of stuff in my life, but these leaves are new to me.
Yeah.
I've never seen.
Hope you like them.
Can I eat?
Of course.
That's right. Okay. I'm so sorry for all of you out there.
Bon appetit.
You noticed, right? Yeah, it is a really bon appetit. This, I can tell you, this is so good. And this is based on kale and some strange leaves that I probably would have left in my lawn if I had found them, and then some almonds and some yogurt.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it's
so
quite simple. Yeah.
Simple and yet so delicious.
This is the signature dish at the MJ, so we haven't had it on the menu since day one, and our general manager told me when we should finish up the year and talk about what was the best for the first year. And he was like, the kale dish, and that you taught me how to eat vegetables, because he didn't eat vegetables before.
I didn't. What did he say? He said, "No, come here. I want to have big steaks."
Yeah.
And you said, "No.
No.
No. I have another idea."
Yeah, because we build our whole menu on vegetables. So they're like the main focus on every dish. So instead of calling a dish like braised leg of lamb, we call it maybe broccoli, lemon, horseradish, thyme, and lamb leg.
Okay.
Because it's the less important thing on the menu.
Okay. Yeah, because that everyone knows, right? But this is not something everyone could dream up or actually cook either, right?
No.
You say, but to you guys, it's simple, right? You've grown up with this and you cooked it 1,000 times. But for the rest of us who would like to cook more green stuff at home, where do we start? Do we all have to have a garden to start with, or can we just go out and find some things and learn how to cook with them in an easy way?
I would say buy it locally from a farmer or organic in the store. And try to cook in the same methods as you do with meat. So if I would have a celeriac, instead of I could treat it as it would be in a steak. So I cut it in a nice thick slice, as you normally do with the sirloin steak or something.
Yep.
And then I put the pan on, some oil in the pan, the celeriac, and nice color, golden color on both sides. Then I add some thyme, garlic, and butter, and like use a spoon to like let the celeriac simmer in the butter, and as you do with the steak when you cook it properly.
I want to have a steak. No, a celeriac steak. That's,
Yeah.
that's
But
that
and
sounds so
or
good.
something like that. I would say to put all the love and care in the vegetables and think about different kinds of techniques you can, because you can do a lot of things.
But you also say something that's really important. That is, start with the farmer somewhere. Go to a farmer's market, get some proper produce.
Yeah.
And that's basically where you sort of say start off with your taste.
Yeah.
I guess so. You as a farmer, I mean, like, what would you say is the main difference between something that comes out of your very locally organized and grown things compared to industrialized grown things?
Yeah,
what
for
is
sure.
it?
I think the biggest thing to think about is that when you go to your grocery store in your local area, when you see vegetables on the shelves, one thing that I encourage everyone to think about is that you never know when that vegetable was harvested and how far it has traveled to get to be placed on that shelf. Okay, whereas when you connect with your local farmer, you know for sure that the vegetables that the farmer is bringing to either the farmer's market, or if in certain Swedish cities now there is Rekoring, which is basically this online farmers market on Facebook, where you can connect with your local producers and basically just make a comment on the post and say, okay, I want 2 kilos of carrots, a kilo of beets, maybe 2 salad heads, right? You show up and you know that produce was probably harvested that morning, right? So that makes a big difference.
Taste-wise.
Taste-wise, texture-wise, and also more importantly is the nutritional value in that produce.
Exactly.
The farther the vegetable or any produce travels in the food chain, the less nutritional content is going to have. So even if you pick an organically grown head of lettuce or a bag of carrots that were grown organically or sustainably, because you don't know when it was harvested and how far it has traveled, you don't know how much nutritional value it has.
And I actually have seen numbers stating that the nutritional value of vegetables has actually gone down with some 40% since the 1970s. And it's kind of ridiculous. And when you think of it, it's probably because of what you just said, because at the same moment you pick something, then the nutritional components start to break down. And if it's a long time between the picking and the serving, of course, well, there's a lot of time for nutritions to break down. I don't know, Saba, you're originally from Canada, so now you have to take some flack for North America here, but I heard that the average age of an apple in a U.S. store is 18 months.
It could be.
Could be that bad, right?
Yeah, of course.
So what's the average age of something being served at your restaurant, Frida?
Okay, I would say maximum like 6 days.
Yeah, but most often you probably count it in hours.
Yeah, we get deliveries more or less every day. So, but some of them, I would say maximum.
You might order 30 kilos of carrots on a Tuesday, but then you would call me and say, hey, we need 10 more kilos.
Yeah.
So we know that 30 kilos are going to be just being served in 2 days. And then, so we just go back to the garden, dig more carrots out of the ground, and bring them to the restaurant.
Lovely. But then again, so this food tastes good, but it doesn't only taste good because it's really tasty, but also because I feel now that there's a deeper connection between what you are doing and what you are doing, and not only what you are doing in the form of growing fantastic produce, but also how you do it. Tell us a bit more about how you go about it, Botildenborg, and how you engage society around in order to produce this amazing stuff.
Yeah, for sure. For anyone who doesn't know Botildenborg, it's basically an organization that works with sustainable practices. So in this company, there's many different projects that revolve around food and gardening, and anything that has to do with contributing in this social, economic, and environmental sustainability. The gardening part, which is directly related to the food that we bring to MJ's or we serve to other customers, comes from the idea of growing the most amount of food in the least amount of time, in the least amount of space, using organic agriculture principles. So from seed to harvest, everything that we do is in line with organic agriculture practices. We buy our seeds organically. We don't use any chemicals on the vegetables. Sometimes you might find some holes in the leaves, but that's because we don't spray on them and we just let the pests come, and we see the pattern and they go, because we're growing many, many different types of vegetables in such a small space. So if an insect shows up, there's not much for them to eat, because that's the big difference between a monoculture practice and a biodiverse organic farm that grows, let's say, 30 to 40 different types of vegetables.
No, it's really, and also as you mentioned, the social aspects, because you're not just only a farmer, you're also an educator, and you're working with the society around you in order to make sure that they know how to grow stuff and sustain themselves.
Yeah, I would say one of the best things about an urban farm in an urban setting is the fact that it's a place of education. It's a place for people from many different age ranges, from little 5 and 6-year-old kids that would come and learn about where the food comes from and how actually carrots look like when they come out of the ground, till youngsters who would like to come and get involved and get their hands dirty and learn a little bit about gardening skills, to just adults who like to just come and learn more about where their food comes from, how it's grown, and it's a place that we find it brings people together.
It's absolutely lovely, and that of course is another proof to our thesis that food is so much more than what's on the plate. It's actually how it's been grown, what type of social context it has been grown in, and what type of value that we can not extract from, but can get out of food. What are you doing, by the way? What are you doing over here?
We're doing one more dish. So I'm thinking we could plate it up. So it's grilled flatbread with some sour cream with sea buckthorn, smoked flame beets. Saba can tell you more about the beets.
Yeah, for sure.
Itself.
I'm just gonna warm up some of the bread here.
It's enough to do one.
Just one.
Yeah, because I really need to have a piece of that too.
Yeah, for sure. This is one of the, just like how the spetskål, the other dish is Frida's signature. This particular variety of beet is the signature of our farm.
Lovely, because I didn't recognize it.
Exactly. It's not your ordinary red or bright color yellow beet that you would find in the store.
Shoot, why do you have to make it so complex and complicated?
It's actually not that complicated. I can tell you the story of it.
Why don't they look like beets? It messes up my life, my mind.
So that's your flatbread.
Yep.
And this is
sour cream. So it's organic cream that I thickened with some sea buckthorn.
So sea buckthorn is a thickening agent as well?
All kind of different kind of acids. When you add it to the cream, it will thicken.
Okay.
So you can put like lemon or vinegar or whatever, and then it thickens.
It thickens it. Okay. Cool. And some salt.
So this beet is called a badger flame beet. This is basically a final product of what happens when a chef and a farmer works together. We can't take the credit for it because it's not our creation, of course, but a very well-known chef who also really works in the sustainable agriculture movement in New York, called Dan Barber, got together with a vegetable breeder, and they basically sat down and talked about how Dan Barber wanted to serve yellow beets at Blue Hill restaurant, and the fact that when you boil beets and you cut it, you lose all the beauty of the patterns inside the beet. Plus, that yellow beets are usually not as sweet as red beets, so the sugar content is not as high as red beets. What they did was that they bred this and this is basically the result, right? That's the noise that we want to hear.
This is so good. Can someone pass me a napkin?
So
Thank you very
how
much.
sweet is that?
Mm.
Right? We haven't even used any sugar or any sweetener in this.
This is extraordinary compared to the normal beets I'm eating. Oh, it's really truly extraordinary. Okay, so this is coming out of Dan Barber's restaurant, and of course that type of innovation can be rapidly brought out into the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It grows really well in Sweden, and I really hope that we can actually grow this and save the seeds, so we can, get into the seed production of this particular type of beet.
You will become a
and do it here.
billionaire from the seeds, I can tell you.
Or
So this was really good.
Yeah, or support the seed
Or support the
producers who are already doing this.
Okay,
So,
cool. This is. I'm so sorry again for all you people who cannot be here to enjoy the fruits of Mother Nature here. It's been truly amazing, especially when you have great chefs and great farmers working together, doing the collabs. Actually, you bring out tastes that you haven't had before, and that means when you enjoy something, you can really, really eat yourself into the future in a healthy and sustainable way.
Yeah.
So that really are I shouldn't say my final words, but or my last words. But for this section, thank you so much again for serving this and proving that there is a future out there that is green, healthy, and sustainable.
thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.